Good morning, folks. Yesterday we watched the incoming sunspot group pop a small solar flare in CME off east into the solar system away from our planet. Another one left a few hours later, again at Saturn and not at Earth, but it came with gifts. So let's go over to spaceweathernews.com and check out the last 24 hours on our star. Right after the small flare, we began to see the northern filaments destabilizing, and indeed, they lift, snap, release, and leave the plasma doing a heck of a dance into the upper corona. Folks, what happens here is the far edge of the filament, 100,000 kilometers to the north of the destabilization point, did not have the energy to fully release as a CME. The same magnetic forces holding plasma filaments up, especially the ones that stand tall as solar tornadoes rather than lay flat compared to the surface, are able to capture and maneuver the residual plasma and just twist it around the current and field forces at work. This is probably the best coronal cavity seen since the near-perfect sphere 4 years ago that made people think a UFO was sucking on the sun. It's a coronal cavity. Let's go to sunspots because the breadth of this active region is somewhat surprising, which even further emboldens the silence fostered by the Earth-facing quiet. We've got a lateral spread with good chance for magnetic mixing as the sunspots in the center appear isolated from the leading and trailing large umbra. And when we use 171 angstroms to see the sunspot connections, we recognize the primary lead connection to that area passes under another strong set of fields. Those are the ones I'd look for interaction if a solar flare happens. Solar wind here. Coronal hole streams are very predictable creatures as their phi angle shifts. The density rises as faster particles bunch up slower ones out ahead of them like snow on a shovel blade, and then those faster particles indeed arrive. The last wave this morning was slightly more intense than the weak rise we've seen for about a day, and we are in geomagnetic storm condition here to start the day. Interesting link to a visualization of 3 key stars orbiting the galactic center. Every few years one of them swings past, and next one is 2018, when S2 will come very close to the center of the Milky Way. In addition to seeing if we get any cosmic fireworks, they are hoping to test relativity as slight perturbations in the expected orbit are at hand and could amplify. Up next, folks, they went studying jellyfish galaxies, the ones they say get ram pressure stripped of gases as they fall towards galaxy clusters and hit their hot gas. Well, they found an incredible 86% of such galaxies have active centers when only 10% were expected from general surveys. They conclude that the stripped gas is somehow also making its way back into the center to create those active centers, despite the fact that we see the gas leaving. Under the ignore category is energetic electrical and magnetic interactions of slamming into that hot gas boundary of the clusters. Unfortunate. We've got your wind maps and shots of our star to close. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll do this all again tomorrow, right here. But right now, it's 5:30 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.